Best in Blue.
Connecting you, the listener, to the everyday inner workings of the Memphis Police Department.
Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Welcome back to another exciting show of the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I'm DC.
I'm Lia Romer.
And the Best in Blue is your chance to take a look at your Memphis Police Department. And today we've got a great show planned for you. We're going to have the bomb unit come in.
We are going to have the bomb unit in the house.
The bomb unit. I don't know if I like the way you said a bomb unit in the house, but anyway.
I want to hear from them. I want to hear what they have to say. Well, we have questions.
We got plenty of questions, right? So, number one, what is a bomb unit?
I have no idea. It sounds very scary.
Well, no, scary? Scary? Is that all you got? Anyway.
I do. We just said bomb unit.
Well, bomb unit is the bomb unit. But they're going to come in. They're going to talk to us today about some of the duties that they have, right? The personnel, those folks who make up the bomb unit, and their everyday interactions with the public.
They are going to educate us today.
Well, I'll tell you who we got. We've got Lieutenant Tom Warrick, and we have Major Adair, who supervises that entire unit, commands that entire unit with intact, okay?
Should be a good show.
Right here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Best in Blue. Hi, this is the lead recruiter with the Memphis Police Department, Officer Kevin Moore. Join the Best in Blue. Our requirements are achievable. Our standards are the highest. Our officers are the finest. We are the Best in Blue. Join MPD.com.
Best in Blue. KUDZUKIAN.
Hey, this is Major Rodney Adair of the Memphis Police Department Tactical Bomb Unit Commander, and you're listening to the Best in Blue, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network.
You're listening to the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I am DC, sitting here along with my capable
I'm
co-host.
Lia Romer.
Oh, I didn't even have to introduce you, did I, Lia?
I just had to cut right in there.
I like the way you did that. Hey, this is the Best in Blue, and we're here today talking to one of Memphis's finest, the Memphis Police Department's finest. That is Lieutenant Tom Warrick, who happens to be a lieutenant with the bomb unit within the Memphis Police Department. Welcome to the very Best in Blue, Lieutenant Warrick. How are you, sir?
Welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
All right, let's just jump right into I don't want to say jump right into this thing, or let's not throw things away. But anyway, we're talking about the bomb unit and the duties that you all perform every day for our citizens. Tell me a little bit, what exactly does the bomb unit do, and what is the responsibilities of the bomb unit?
Well, the bomb unit is the Memphis Police Department's asset for bomb mitigation, bomb threat investigation, and we handle any explosive hazard or explosive chemical hazard that any citizen of Memphis may encounter. For the most part, we do recovery of explosives. To give you a little insight as to how it kind of works is, you might have an elderly grandparent that served in World War II.
Yeah.
And when he came back, he brought home some war relics. And some of those may have been like hand grenades or bazooka rounds or things like that. Yes, we've handled them all. And, of course, he may have passed. And you as his son, daughter, or grandchild might have the responsibility of cleaning up his affairs. And we get calls all the time about having to go in. They go in and they start cleaning up an attic or a basement.
Sure.
And they start finding grenades and things like this, and they don't know how to take care of them. Mm-hmm. So they call the police. Well, the police make the scene, they call us, and we come out and we assess the lethality of the actual device. Some people bring back their war relics, but they're more novelty items. Mm-hmm. They don't have excuse me, they don't have actual explosives in them, but in some cases we actually get some war relics that do have, and they tend to range from Civil War cannonballs, Civil War Army munitions, to Vietnam era hand grenades, World War II grenades, World War II bazooka rounds. It's kind of interesting, but we take them.
So you mentioned bomb mitigation. Would
Yes.
that be considered bomb mitigation when you receive that kind of call?
That's explosive mitigation. Bomb mitigation is more in the terrorist realm, where people actually make devices with the intent of hurting people. And you've seen it time and time again. The most common one people remember is the Boston Marathon bombing.
Yeah, sure.
And
Tragic, yeah.
Right, and the bombs that are associated with a lot of the active shooter schools, Columbine,
Yeah.
and others, where not only were they conducting an actual active shooter, but they also had built bombs for the express purpose of hurting people. So with that type of threat out there, every department needs to have an asset, and we are the Memphis Police Department's asset to mitigate explosive threats in this area. But
Well, let me stop you. Let me stop you right there, because I want to do this right. This is the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network, and I want to hit on that asset piece, and I think a part of that is a training.
Yes.
What types of training are you afforded as a member of this elite unit to be able to handle these types of situations?
Well, we're Memphis police officers first and foremost.
Sure.
So we can handle the daily, and of course we were brought up through the ranks on patrol, and then we had to we volunteered and went through a school to get on the TAC unit, which is a SWAT team.
Sure.
All of our bomb techs are SWAT certified.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and on top of that, we go through a FBI course. It's a 7-week FBI course down in Redstone Arsenal, down in Huntsville, Alabama, and we get certified as bomb techs. It's a very intensive 7-week program, and we go through that. With that in mind, since the FBI has trained us, we have a memorandum of understanding with the FBI that our bomb techs, and this is where it comes in, there's only like 3,000 of us in the whole U.S.
Wow.
So the FBI, if they need us to go investigate post-blast scenes or use us in other jurisdictions,
Sure.
Memphis Police Department, lets us go wherever the FBI would
They
need us.
Wow.
Right.
So you mentioned bomb technician. Is that what you do specifically?
I do. I am a bomb tech. I've been a bomb tech for about 13, 14 years. And I've got 7 techs that work for me, or six other techs. I'm the 7th tech. I supervise 6 other people, 2 sergeants, and the rest are SWAT officers. They all have dual purposes.
Sure.
They are SWAT, and they are TAC, and they are bomb techs, which actually is an additional asset to the department, in that in an active shooter scenario, we actually have guys that can mitigate the bomb threats on the scene of active shooter or any other kind of a tactical call out.
So you guys are all working together to kind of neutralize the threat.
Absolutely.
So do you have like a bomb sniffing dog?
We do. This department has explosive detecting canines, and we utilize them quite a bit. Now, if an actual package or suspicious package is actually located, then we don't use canines on that.
Let me stop you right there, Lieutenant. Let me stop you right there. We want to take a quick break right here on the Best in Blue. We're going to come right back with you and with Major, and we're going to talk a little bit more about, and we want to pick up with that suspicious package piece, because we want to make sure our listeners know when they see things like this what to do next. So we'll be right back here on Best in Blue, right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Best in Blue.
And I'm not alluding to the president being a nut. I really am not.
No, you're not alluding to it. You're saying it, basically.
Well, and I'm not comparing him to Hitler or Mussolini, but you have these people who were homegrown.
So why'd you even bring him up?
Okay, I'm going to let that go. Go ahead, Cornell.
I mean,
it's really getting fucking. I don't want to call the president a nut.
No, that's why.
And our personal friends.
You don't want to.
I've been to the Trump Tower, and I've had my golden shower.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead.
Wow. Okay. Funking up your airwaves and jamming the good information in your ear. Once again, it's Funky Politics.
This is Lieutenant Tom Warrick. I'm with the Memphis Police Department Bomb Unit, and you're listening to the Best in Blue, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network.
We're back with you right here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I am DC. I'm sitting here along with
Leah Romer. Leah Romer.
She's got to get that whole name there, Leah Romer.
Leah Romer.
Leah's here with me as well. We've been talking with Lieutenant Warrick, Tom Warrick of the Bomb Unit, and also we're joined now by Major Adair, who happens to be the leader of that specialized unit over there. Not only the Bomb Unit, but TAC Unit as well as K9 and a bunch of other things he does with the Memphis Police Department. So welcome to the show as well, Major Adair.
Major Adair.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on. We were just talking a moment ago about one of the responsibilities with the Bomb Unit, and that was we were talking a little bit about suspicious packages. But let's get down to that root right there. When you got a citizen who calls and says, "Well, I do have a suspicious package," what typically should they expect from the Bomb Unit when you come in?
Well, when we come in, they're going to be kind of inconvenienced for a little while because we take our time.
Sure.
We don't treat any explosive threat lightly, and we're going to take our time and mitigate it safely. Because explosives, although they can be dangerous.
Sure.
Or they are dangerous if they are not handled by people that know what they're doing. And so the first thing that's going to happen is the police are going to evacuate the immediate area. Our basic standoff right now for pre-assessment is about 300 yards.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. We try and get everybody back away from public citizens, back away at least 300 yards from whatever suspicious package that they called us for.
And that's a radius pretty much?
That's a radius.
Okay.
Yes. Right. So at that point, we will come in and we will start doing our assessment. Based on the size of the package and the type, we can pretty much guesstimate the explosive load that could possibly be in there.
Oh, wow.
And then, based on the weight of the possible explosive, then we can adjust the evacuation route farther out, or we can collapse it. Sure. But in any case, we'll never collapse it closer than like 300 feet. That's just for the safety of explosives, because when an explosive goes off, it creates overpressure.
Sure. And
that overpressure can bounce off the atmosphere, it can bounce off of clouds, it can bounce off of buildings, and with that it can break windows. And the explosive itself has, you've got two types of fragmentation. You got the fragmentation that comes directly off the explosive device. That's the primary fragmentation. Sure. And then you got the secondary fragmentation, which is what that overpressure breaks a window, and the glass in that window
Sure.
becomes the secondary fragmentation.
Wow.
And it's the same with like walls and loose material that might be around get gets picked up.
So, like, for every action, there's a reaction to something. In other
That's
words,
exactly right.
Wow.
So that's
exactly
a very
right.
thorough response. And if I'm deciding, okay, this package is suspicious, I don't know what it is, I think it might be a bomb,
Right.
I'm going to be in for a long day with you guys, basically. So it's not
Yep.
really like the movies. I imagined, do you ever have any situations where you're army crawling in and going towards that green wire and cutting it, and then you just save the day and it's over with?
Yeah,
Any
unfortunately,
days like that?
unfortunately, it's not that simple. When we assess the package, we break out all our tools. For the most part, our primary tool is our X-ray. We've got several different types of
wow.
X-rays.
Wow.
We've got a real-time X-ray that, and we have static X-rays, and we've got X-rays that we can manipulate through a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're looking for in an X-ray is what we call the explosive train. And in order to have a bomb or a explosive device, the device has to have an explosive.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to have a way of setting that explosive off, and it has to have an initiator. And that initiator, we have to determine whether it is how it's supposed to be, whether it's supposed to be victim initiated, radio, RC, or whether cell phone,
Sure.
or whether it could be on a time device. Has it got like a watch or something?
So all of these things that you're saying, a lot of this stuff that's been, I guess, sexied up in the movies,
Yes.
it's really not just that easy, right, Major Adair? I mean, and I want to throw this thing to you because, living in our city here, you guys on this job doing this every day, and have we seen a major increase over last year of these reported incidents, of bomb incidents?
Yes, we have, especially the last year, and Lieutenant Warrick can attest to this also. The bomb unit is similar to the attack unit, as you said, they're combined, and they're available for 24-hour call-out.
Oh, wow.
And we have seen our increase of calls go up at least 80 to 90% over the last 12 months, because every package looks suspicious to most people. It may be a homeless person with a suitcase in the downtown area that somebody calls in.
Mm-hmm.
It could be something sitting on someone's porch. We've actually had police officers call in and say, hey, I got a bag on my porch that I didn't expect to be coming to my address this particular day.
And so, Major Adair, with such a responsibility and such a very thorough response every time you get one of these kinds of calls, is there frustration for the bogus calls that you receive?
It's really not. I probably years ago would have said yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But today's world, there's no way we would take anything lightly, because the one that you think is not may be the one that goes boom. And that's the last thing that we want to hear is something that goes boom unless we're doing it.
Exactly. Lieutenant Warrick, I think you had an interesting statistic or a number that you wanted to let us know in terms of those numbers of maybe calls or reports.
Well, as of today's date, suspicious packages alone, we've had 25 calls.
25 calls.
25 calls for service on suspicious packages.
And that could be at 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
24/7.
And you guys have got to respond. And then
We do.
And you don't know, so you have to respond with the amount of equipment and the manpower that you have no clue, right?
That's it.
So it's almost like calling out the regiment, the cavalry to come out here and look at this one piece.
Right. Major Adair. So when you do realize, okay, you're on the scene, you realize, okay, this is not a suspicious package, this is like the real deal, and we have to find a way to neutralize this, do you take it somewhere or do you try to neutralize it right there?
Well, that depends. That's a great question. And we've had that, about maybe 2 or 3 months ago, where most of our calls have come and they have been just suspicious package, nothing to it. And this particular time, Lieutenant Warrick called me and he said, I think we got a live one this time.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, my pressure went up probably another 180%.
Oh, no.
But he discussed what he had at the particular time. And normally when I get to the scene, they have done all the work, the x-rays, and they pretty much give me heads up on what they got and what technique we need to utilize.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest concern is, as he said, evacuation. I don't want to get any citizen hurt, any officer hurt, and that's hard with citizens. And the thing we left out earlier was that when people see suspicious package, the one thing we don't want them to do is touch that package.
Let me stop you right there. Let me take a quick break, Major. We want to come right back with some of those do's and don'ts, especially when it comes to the bomb unit, right here on the Best in Blue show on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Best in Blue.
Grind fed.
I'm your host, Cynthia Daniels.
And I'm your co-host, Williams Brack.
So we're going to be interviewing business owners about their journey. What made them leave their 9-to-5 and just go out and create their own brand?
I think sometimes we overplan things and that can kind of cause a delay or setback. But I would definitely say dive in, get your name started, get your website up, get your business cards.
Grind fed.
Sponsored by Epicenter, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network. Find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Play, and many of your podcast providers.
Grind fed.
KUDZUKIAN.
Best in Blue.
We're back with you here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I'm DC, sitting along with my friend Lia.
Hey,
Lia.
DC.
Doing all right?
Doing great.
We got two great guests with us today, two of Memphis's finest, Lieutenant Tom Warrick and Major Adair of the Bomb Unit. And, of course, Major Adair's got more than a bomb unit, but we're talking about the Bomb Unit today, and we were just discussing some of those do's and don'ts, and we were getting into a piece where, Major, you were talking a little bit about if something hits your front step or your door, and you're curious, the curiosity should leave, right?
Exactly, and that's normally what drives most persons, including ourselves. We're curious too as officers sometimes, but in a bomb situation, you have to keep your hands off of it, and you have to establish a line of security. Step back, give us a call. Step back if it's at your front door. You might want to leave the house. Go next door somewhere. Do whatever it takes to give yourself a safe distance and a safe routing in case something does go wrong before we get there.
Major Adair, you're over the attack unit, K9 unit, bomb unit, mayor's detail. Could you tell us a little bit about the responsibilities of your unit?
Well, it's a challenging job. The tactical unit really is the primary portion of it, which to most people is SWAT. Tactical is tactical apprehension, containment team. SWAT is special weapons and tactics. We do the same thing. But lately, the bomb has taken over most of our call-outs. And it's good that our guys are cross-trained. Tactical units probably take a little longer and involve mostly negotiations with persons within. And it just takes a little bit more time. The dignitary protection, that pretty much covers the mayor. I do utilize those guys sometimes, females too, when we have a large amount of dignitaries here in town on different things. Those that are dignitary, that have dignitary protection certification, we utilize them in multiple roles. So we just try to maintain and keep everyone safe. But the K9, TAC, and bomb, you can tie in together.
Well, I think we saw a lot of your gentlemen, I won't say just gentlemen, a lot of your officers out there, especially during the MLK 50 piece, and also I think this last thing with the Freedom Awards.
Yes.
And so I can attest to the dignitary piece and the thoroughness of the officers. So let them know we all felt safe, and of course we tip our hat to your service out there.
We appreciate it. We do. Right. Thank you,
Lieutenant Warrick. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
We were kind of talking a little bit before about the most intense situation while in this unit, and we kind of got into it, and I'm like, this seems like a really good story, and we would love to hear it.
Well, we've had several. I'll pick one. That was actually almost a three-day event.
Wow.
That ended up the total time to mitigate the entire problem was about 6 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
And we had a house down here in Midtown that as I was telling you before about the war relics and things like that. Well, in the basement of this house, there was military explosives, civilian explosives, and chemically explosive chemicals and compounds. And it took us 2 days just to get the stuff out of the basement. And we worked a lot hand in hand with the fire department's hazmat team.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of hazardous chemicals that were in this basement as well. And anyway, so we got them all out of the basement. We got them all loaded up safely and transported out to our range, where we had, since there was so much of it, we had to bring in other agencies to help us out. Now, we have our own range out there, and we can pretty much countercharge and destroy a lot of stuff. But since there was so much of this, we had to utilize the EOD teams from the U.S. Army out of Fort Campbell. We had to utilize the EPA. They had to help us get rid of all these hazardous chemicals.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me stop you there. First of all, this is the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN.
You're telling me all of this was contained in a home?
It was all
right in the
home.
city limits?
It had been in this basement for years.
How terrifying.
Yeah.
Was it intentional? I mean, I know you can't probably talk about the case specifically, but was it just somebody just hoarding stuff, or just maybe buying something at the?
It wasn't intentional. It was.
I just happened to have a collection of bombs.
It wasn't really bombs. It was all. It was all. It had been kept and stored, actually correctly.
Wow.
The problem was that. Throughout all these storms that were coming in, the basement had flooded.
Oh my
and
goodness.
And so all the boxes and everything
were deteriorated. I can see.
Right.
Yeah.
All this was going on while we were at home asleep.
Yes. And of course, it was all by somebody who had died. And all this stuff was found by his granddaughter, who inherited the house. And all these problems.
And so correctly, Major, she called the police department.
Yes.
She did, and what we had to go through was, and Lieutenant Warrick and his team did an excellent job of sorting this stuff out, getting it outside. As a matter of fact, they had to go into a different dress code because you had hazardous materials, so we just couldn't use our regular dress attire. You had to be careful. And the other aspect of that over 3 days was transporting this equipment or these products from that particular house out to our range where we dispose of it. You had to drive extremely careful. If I'm not mistaken, we kind of used a lead car or somebody to keep traffic off of us because we were moving hazardous material through the city, and we didn't want anything like a pothole or something.
That's right.
And we were moving this stuff like, what's the latest we moved it? Maybe 10 o'clock at night, one particular night. We had to move it late at night. We had
when there was not a lot of traffic out in the street.
Exactly. And we were trying to, just be safe as far as we're concerned and as far as the citizens are concerned. So it's a very tedious 3 days. And what made it so bad was that the call, she called the first day. Yeah. We thought we had it under control. Then the second day. And then the third day. So I was told to me, let's make sure we get everything out of there this particular day.
She just kept finding more stuff.
She just kept finding more stuff because there was work going on or repairs going on within the house. And they would do repairs. They would find additional
and luckily, she stayed on top of it. And, the workers, hopefully she had the workers out. Look, hey, y'all, let's just get out of the way of this thing. This is nothing you want to play around with. Before we get out of here, a couple of things. Give me a tip or two, a safety tip or two that both of you all have got. You want our citizens to really, really hone in on when they come upon items like this.
Well, first of all, if you see something, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Say something.
Yeah.
To call the police is the first. You don't necessarily need to call 911 unless an explosion actually occurred. Yeah. But call the police, let the police come out and set the cordon off, and then create time, distance, and shielding. Those are the three important.
Time, distance, and shielding.
Yep. Put something between you and whatever the threat is.
Gotcha. Major?
And probably to add on to that, be as detailed about the package as you can be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That helps us en route, and we can put our thinking caps on and know what we're looking at, what steps we need to take. So, if you take a good, nice look at it, if it's a small package, it's a small package. If it's a suitcase, but don't open it, as he says, don't touch it, but just be as detailed on the exterior of it as you can with us.
Wow.
What a multifaceted unit. And you guys get to work with fire hazmat, the FBI, the EPA,
Secret Service.
I mean, that's just.
Yes.
Did you ever imagine when you became a cop that you would be in this kind of unit?
I think both of us knew. Normally, you want the TAC unit. That's what you reach for. The TAC unit is the big one, but over the years, what they did, they combined them. Because like I said, it used to be a bomb unit and a TAC unit.
Yeah.
And then I think former Director Godwin, decided to combine the two. Yeah. And that really wasn't a bad idea.
Expertise really on both sides.
And then we combined K9 in over a year ago because they do the explosives and all that. So instead of working separate, we're one big team
together. Yeah. Well, let me say this: we, our citizens, our listeners, especially us right here on Best in Blue, we appreciate you all stopping by to talk with us. We want you to come back again. Okay. Make sure Major Adair, Lieutenant Warrick, tell those officers out there working with you, great job. Hang in there. Okay.
Thank you.
Truly the Best in Blue. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
This is Lee Recruiter with the Memphis Police Department, Officer Kevin Moore. Join the Best in Blue. Our requirements are achievable. Our standards are the highest. Our officers are the finest. We are the Best in Blue. Join MPD.com.
Best in Blue.
Riffin' on Jazz.
I'm Howard Robertson, one of your hosts for Riffin' on Jazz. Riffin' is your weekly visit with friends where we dive all in to that classic African-American art form called jazz. So don't miss Riffin' with me and my man Melvin Massey every week on your favorite broadcast and podcast platforms.
Riffin' on Jazz on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN, Best in Blue.
What a show, what a show, what a show. That's why the Best in Blue is the most important show on radio today.
Truly the Best in Blue with the bomb unit today. They showed out.
Well, when you talk about the safety of citizens and you talk about, we normally talk about just basic policing, but now this specialized unit right here, and there's just so much going on in our world and our country today that you just don't know. Anything that looks suspicious, we might need to call somebody first before we go touching it, right? Especially if it's something that you didn't order and it's on your doorstep. You didn't order a pack. You're not even expecting anything. And it's probably not Santa Claus. You might need to call the police department, right?
You might need to call the police department. And they actually work with other departments like the fire, hazmat, and the FBI, the EPA. They're just all over the place.
We have a world-class bomb unit. All of them are bomb techs that have been trained by the FBI. So we've got it good right here in the city of Memphis, and we appreciate what they've done. And today's show is a testimony to that, the hard work that they do at the bomb unit, right?
If you see something, don't touch it and say something.
Wow. You heard it first right here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network. We're out.
Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.